Do you believe a farmer's entire livelihood can be wiped out in a single night? Here in Texas, feral hogs are a real nightmare for crops and livestock. We can't just stand by and watch months of hard work get destroyed. Night hunting isn't something just anyone can do, not because it's hard, but because it carries real ethical responsibility. In America, hunters are trained to follow one rule above all: 100% target identification. No shooting at shadows. No shooting at sounds. Thermal optics make sure every trigger pull is a responsible decision. All right, let's get started. We're fully geared up: legal rifles, next-gen thermal scopes, IR illuminators. Out in the fields of West Texas, a large heat signature pops up on the screen, a lone scout hog checking the path for the rest of the herd. Will it spot us before it's too late? I shift quietly, keeping the wind in my favor. Only when it turns its head toward the fields do I settle the crosshair and take an ethical, clean, effective shot. Nice shot. A perfect start. Taking out that scout brings huge relief. It stops an entire chain of destruction before it begins. What you just saw was only a warm-up. Not long after, my scope picks up another heat signature, this one moving slowly, cautiously, and much bigger than the first. It's heading straight toward the area where the scout went down. I hold my breath and lock the reticle onto the weak point of this thick-skinned animal. Hold on. Target controlled. Clean and precise. For us, accuracy isn't just skill. It's an act of responsibility to protect farmland from the most persistent pest in the South. While I handle the open field target, Mike's team swept through the thick grass. Hogs love to hide in tall brush, and to the naked eye, they practically vanish. But through thermal, every movement is crystal clear. Mike's team locked onto the location and took care of it quickly and safely, stopping them before they could push deeper into the cornfield.
Three, two, one.
We move nearer to a cornfield, and the sight through the scope is terrifying. A big sounder, easily over a dozen hogs, tearing into the crops like mad. If we don't act now, this place will be nothing but dirt by morning. This is where speed and accuracy must work together. The team splits angles, keeps every firing line safe, then moves in at the same moment to stop the destruction. In just seconds, the field is saved from what would have been massive overnight damage. No time to rest. Our spotter reports another group gathering in a grassy field a good distance away. We jump into the Toyota Land Cruiser and head out without making too much noise. Open terrain, low grass, perfect visibility. Thanks to the open field, tracking their movement becomes much easier. Once the animals enter our safe zone, the team moves in and handles the situation situation exactly by Texas hog control regulations. Setting the high-speed chases aside, we switch to a silent ambush near the tree lean, a bait site prepped with corn earlier. Patience becomes the deciding factor now. Soon, a few dark shapes appear, creeping cautiously. But hunger gets the better of them. Easy. Let the group up. Wait for it. A perfect trap. Sometimes a cold head and patience are the best weapons against trespassers who ruin farmland night after night. As the night grows late, we split up and hold watch at the automatic feeders. The hogs' usual stop before dawn. Targets show up one by one. Each shot is clean, controlled, and by the book, giving the nearby farmers real peace of mind. The last few hogs are finally taken care of, wrapping up a flawless night. Now the locals can sleep without worrying their fields will be shredded by morning. Dawn's breaking. We're exhausted, but seeing the fields stand untouched makes every bit of effort worth it.
The sky faded into the last streaks of sunset.
After years away, I returned to visit my grandmother, longing for the peaceful days of our quiet countryside. But the sight that greeted me was like a punch to the gut. More than 5 hectares of rice fields had been torn apart, barns collapsed, crops destroyed, all in a single night. The villagers said the wild beasts came without warning. No one had time to react. But I couldn't just stand by and watch my homeland drown in fear. Tonight, we head out, not just to stop the destruction, but to take back the peace that this land once knew. By 6 p.m., we were already on the move, riding in a rugged UAZ Hunter heading deep into South Texas. With weapons and gear loaded, we rolled straight into our planned position. Look at that! Night had barely fallen, and the hogs were already pouring out across the fields. That familiar anger boiled up inside me. I locked onto the lead boar, steady and cold. My finger squeezed the trigger, clean and deliberate. The shot rang out, and the alpha dropped instantly. But the rest? They were sharp, too sharp. Before I could even chamber the next round, they vanished into the dark. Now I understood why they'd torn this place apart so easily. But tonight is different. This hunt is just getting started. After the initial chaos, we moved with more caution, stopping to pinpoint their location using advanced GPS and tracking tech. Once the coordinates were locked in, we moved out, fast and focused. This time, I wasn't alone. Leon was right behind me, moving in sync with every step. We split into different firing angles, covering all possible escape routes. Through the thermal scope, each hog stood out crystal clear, lit up against the cool night. When the targets lined up, the shots rang out. Fast, clean, and deadly accurate. In just a matter of minutes, the entire sounder was wiped out. One by one, those black silhouettes dropped into the field. Silence returned. It was as if no one and nothing had ever passed through this place. As night settled in, the hunt hit its peak, starting right at 10 p.m. We moved in silence, step by careful step, making sure not to startle the wild hogs lurking nearby. This was prime time, when the hogs came out to feed, so the chances of an encounter were high. Our team spread out along the edge of the field, each member locking into position with tight coordination. Out here, any hog that got spotted didn't stand a chance. Under the crosshairs of seasoned hunters, every shot counted, and every shot landed. We pushed deeper into the terrain. Through the thermal scope, I spotted a lone hog quietly breaking off from the group, moving on its own. At just over 100 meters out, I had the distance I needed to watch its movement and line up the shot with precision. Once it stepped into the kill zone, I squeezed the trigger. 2 rounds fired in quick succession, clean, decisive. The hog dropped instantly, motionless beneath the cold blanket of night.
Hey! Woo!
Day or night, it doesn't matter. When protecting this land is the mission, we see it through. We got another report from our team. A sounder of wild hogs had been spotted on the west side of the field. Without hesitation, Leon moved in to close the distance. Under the cover of darkness, the hogs were busy foraging, completely unaware, their natural caution gone. Seizing the moment, Leon controlled his breathing, took careful aim, and pulled the trigger. Boom! Everything was done fast, but with deadly precision. In seconds, the lead hog collapsed, motionless. The rest scattered, vanishing into the shadows. We couldn't let them slip away. The chase went on relentlessly. Hiding in a corner, I silently watched the shadows at the forest's edge. These beasts are always sharp. One wrong move, one gunshot, and they vanish without a trace. But this time, I wasn't about to let them escape. Gunshots rang out in rapid succession, cutting off every possible route. There was no chance left for these wild hogs to ever roam this land again. And just like that, the night hunt came to an end. We headed back, loaded down with a full haul on the 2025 Ranger. No words were needed. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, knowing Grandma's crops and the villagers' fields were safe once again. After a heavy downpour, wild boars swarmed into my father's sweet potato fields. In just one night, hundreds of plants were torn apart, and the soil was ripped to shreds. From that day on, hunting was no longer a choice. It became the only way to protect our land and our village's hard-earned labor. But would we make it back in one piece after a day of chasing danger? Stay tuned and find out. With a mixed terrain of dense jungle and rolling sand dunes, aerial hunting was our best strategy. The plan was simple but effective. One helicopter would flush the boars from thick brush and heavy cover. The other would execute from above as the targets ran into open ground. After a quick briefing, we lifted off into the skies. The roar of rotor blades ripped through the morning air, sending waves of power across the treetops. Our team was assigned the kill zone, an open stretch with low brush and a nearby water source, a favorite hideout for wild boars. Strapped in tight, I sat at the open side door, eyes locked on the ground below. Suddenly, a voice crackled in my headset. Target, 3 o'clock. A shadow burst from the undergrowth, charging for cover. Our pilot swept in, holding steady altitude and speed to give me the perfect firing range. I held my breath, followed the boar's wild sprint, and pulled the trigger. Boom! Direct hit. The beast collapsed. An explosive start. The team's adrenaline surged. The hunt had officially begun. A few lone boars were flushed toward a shallow waterway. Despite their size, these beasts were lightning fast. Our helicopter pursued, swooping in low and tight. 2 sharp cracks echoed across the field. 2 shots, 2 takedowns. No chance to escape. We moved on to a wide sand plain. The harsh sun lit up a trail of dense footprints, leading us straight to a massive herd, likely over a dozen strong. Perfect conditions, flat terrain, wide visibility. I locked onto the rear of the herd first, tactical choice to slow their escape. I aimed, fired, and watched one drop instantly. No time to hesitate. I kept firing. Every pull of the trigger brought another beast down. Precise, ruthless, controlled. scout relayed coordinates of another group. We moved in. The pilot angled us close. One by one, dark figures stood out against the sand. I took them down. Clean shots, flawless timing. More dropped. The accuracy was nearly surgical. The field below was littered with motionless bodies. As evening approached, the herd fled into a wide grassland, a foraging ground full of roots and insects. The flushing team came through once more, driving the boars out into the open. Our pilot matched their sprint, flying parallel to their route. I tracked one through the scope, led the shot just right, and fired. One round, clean takedown. Game over. A few last survivors made a run for it across the open field. They were tough, persistent, and desperate. I followed their path, firing in controlled bursts. The final shots of the day rang out, and the hunt came to a close.
Oh, he kicking.
In the heart of the Alentejo forest, the thunderous roars of the beasts echoed like a challenge. They rampaged through the fields, tearing up crops and turning over the soil before vanishing back into their dens. The farmers stood helpless against such defiance, but the hunters were ready to step in, determined to protect every inch of land from their sharp claws and fangs. In this battle, who will be the last one standing? Don't take your eyes off the screen. The fight begins now. Kevin's hunting team had gathered early, the wheels of the truck speeding down the road to the designated location. Before long, the Alentejo forest was tightly surrounded, with no gaps left. Every step was taken with care, scanning every corner. Slowly, a noise unmistakably the sound of hunting dogs. Kevin gripped his rifle tightly and charged toward the source of the sound. Before he could even assess the situation, the massive wild boar came charging at him. A series of rapid shots rang out, and the beast collapsed just a few meters from Kevin. A perfect start to today's hunt. Kevin didn't stop. He pressed on, moving deeper into the forest to continue his journey. Not a sound was heard, only his tense eyes, working tirelessly, missing nothing. "10 minutes passed, and Kevin remained in position, his gaze fixed ahead. Then, a wild boar appeared, slowly emerging from the thick brush. A cold shot rang out, striking it dead on the spot. Without a chance to react, the beast collapsed in the heart of the forest. Before Kevin could even lower his rifle, a strange sound caught his attention. Through the scope, a shadow moved stealthily among the dry branches, charging forward. His gaze was locked on the beast, tracking its every move, waiting for the right moment to strike. In just a few seconds, the shot was fired, and the creature collapsed motionless on the ground. Each step of the hunter's well-hidden and perfectly executed ambush came together in an instant, creating a spectacular moment of surprise. From another position, Jay used the most advanced scope to closely observe every movement from a distance. The scene became crystal clear, as if it were only a few meters away, though it was actually hundreds of meters off. A familiar figure slowly moved across the opposite hillside, unable to escape Jay's sights. A series of swift, precise actions were set in motion, preparing for the fateful squeeze of the trigger. In the blink of an eye, only the fallen beast remained, a victory etched in sharp detail. At this moment, from his new hiding spot, Kevin spotted another beast charging across his path. With the rifle ready, he wasted no time. A quick, decisive burst of gunfire followed. Another obstacle lay motionless on the ground. A smile of satisfaction spread across his face, as yet another threat was swiftly eliminated. Before he could even move a step, the next shadow came into his sights. The wild boars here were clever, never moving in a straight line, always swerving and darting into the brush to stay out of the marksman's view. But for an experienced sharpshooter like Kevin, that was nothing out of the ordinary. With just one shot, the beast was brought down the moment it appeared. This strike officially marked the end of the hunt. The number of beasts taken down was enough to halt the destruction of crops, at least for today. But the battle between hunters and wild boars is far from over, as the creature's reproductive rate far exceeds any expectations.
Wild boars, with their staggering reproduction rate and formidable cunning, have become a threat to communities and the agricultural economy. They devastate crops and tear up the land, making control increasingly difficult. Hunters must act to restore the balance between nature and humanity. Do they have the grit to succeed? Follow along with the thrilling footage coming up, and don't forget to watch until the end to pick the hunt that impresses you the most. Kicking off today's battle is a thrilling night hunt in the Texas fields, recently ravaged by hordes of beasts. By 6 p.m., Kevin's team is in position, tracking traces left behind and spreading out to ambush the entire field. Soon after, through infrared binoculars, a herd of boars is spotted grazing, unaware they're in the crosshairs. A hunter swiftly locks onto the largest boar and pulls the trigger. The boar collapses, the rest scatter in panic, but the next shots quickly snuff out any hope of escape. The battle has officially begun. On the neighboring field, another herd of wild boars is starting to wreak havoc. Naturally, they can't escape Kevin's sights. He quickly selects the best position and angle for the shot. Gunshots ring out rapidly, taking down each boar before they can bolt into the forest. Every shot is clean and decisive, true to Kevin's resolve to leave no boar with a chance to cause destruction for another night. On the eastern side of the field, ambush points were quickly set up. Cold, precise gunshots echo through the night, each wild boar dropping on the spot. Every corner of the field is methodically cleared, leaving no threat behind. This land is temporarily restored to peace, easing the fears of the locals to some extent. At the same time, another hunting team swiftly sets up ambushes throughout a forest in France. At the checkpoint, James keeps his eyes sharp, maintaining a ready stance for any movement. Suddenly, a wild boar leisurely wanders into his sights. Instantly, a gunshot rings out, and the beast collapses onto the grass, unaware it was being watched. One threat is dealt with cleanly and decisively. A precise shot is swiftly executed on the eastern side of the forest. Turning around, the hunter immediately spots a panicked wild boar darting across. In less than a second, a bullet flies, halting its escape. With just one shot, the beast collapses onto the cold ground. Continuing to follow the remaining tracks, the sudden barking of hunting dogs signals the target's location. James quickly moves toward the sound. There it is, a wild boar's silhouette peeking from behind dense trees. As soon as its body comes into view, a decisive gunshot rings out. The beast collapses on the spot. Another threat eliminated swiftly and flawlessly. Hunting wild boars not only tightens control over these monstrous creatures, but also restores balance between nature and humanity.
Recently, chaos struck the city as a dangerous herd of wild boars stormed through, leaving destruction and fear in their wake. Several people were injured in the attacks, and panic spread fast. In response, the government issued an emergency order, tasking our hunting unit with tracking down the beasts and eliminating the threat before it got worse. With a burning resolve to protect our people, we set out on a mission that would test both courage and endurance. Would this journey bring safety back to the city, or plunge us deeper into danger? Let's find out. The first light of dawn crept over the horizon as we made our way up the rugged southern hillside. After a quick scan of the area, John moved ahead on a narrow trail, cutting off the path of the shadows flickering below. Oh, this was the golden moment. John squeezed the trigger. Each shot cracked through the crisp morning air, locking onto the target with fierce precision. Yet even with his quick aim, he couldn't quite match the incredible speed and cunning of the beasts darting through the brush. A message from John came through the radio. "Boars are nearby, stay sharp." His warning came just in time. My pulse quickened as I steadied the rifle. The instant the beast appeared, a single unannounced shot tore through the silence. It dropped where it stood, brought down cleanly under the force of the rifle's power. We pressed on, eyes sweeping across every movement on the slope. Within moments, a dark shape flickered in the distance. I adjusted the scope, focused tight, and squeezed. The bullet struck true, millimeter perfect. The sound of the hit echoed like a victory drum through the trees. Suddenly, the sensors lit up. Another group of boars, moving fast on the western ridge. John reacted instantly, steady hands and veteran instincts guiding each motion. One clear shot later, and the ridge went silent again. It was a masterclass in control and precision. No time to rest, we kept advancing. Our patience finally paid off. When the next target appeared in range, the shot flew straight to the mark, clean and final. Each round found its target, cutting down the danger before it could spread. For every boar that fell, the safety of the city drew one step closer. We continued sweeping the hillside, eyes locked on every shadow. Within moments, another target appeared. The barrels lifted, No room for hesitation. One round fired, striking home, but another slipped away into the woods. Without missing a beat, the team spread out, closing off escape routes in every direction. Every movement was smooth, disciplined, like a well-rehearsed dance. Every plan anticipated, every action in sync. That's how hunters survive out here. As the day drew to a close and fatigue crept into our legs, the sounds of the forest began to fade. We finally lowered our rifles, knowing the mission was complete. The unseen sacrifices, the silent determination, together they had driven back the threat. For now, peace was restored. The hills felt quiet again, just the way they should be.